Hi, Room 4 families. I wanted to go over the new homework. I know I sent directions home, but I kind of wanted to talk about how we could adapt each category. So the first category is the sight word flashcards. They look like this. I send them home a lot because I test the students weekly to inspire them to continue on their path of learning. I want to inspire them to, practice at home and help you guys so that homework's not such a struggle because they know that I'm holding them accountable in the classroom. So again, they look like this. We are in trimester 2, so you should have gotten new sight words sent home. If your child doesn't have any sight words to learn because they are a kindergarten snowman, so they learned all of their trimester 2 sight words, then they need to be practicing writing a sentence during that time. So for example, they could write, I like apples and bananas. So I, like, and need to be spelled correctly because those are our sight words. Apples and bananas, they would spell phonetically, so what they hear. So again, it's so hard. Believe me, I know because I do writing with them 3 times a day, so I definitely know the struggle is real. But us not telling them, oh, apples is A-P-P-L-E-S. They'll say, how do you spell it? They ask me all the time, and so I'll say, well, you know how to spell it. You know your letter and letter sounds. Now, if they don't know their letter sounds, of course, they're probably not at that stage of writing yet. They need to be practicing their letter sounds, practicing their sight words. But if they know all their letter sounds, they know all their sight words, then they know how to sound it out correctly. So a lot of times if I'm sitting there and I'll say apples, what do we hear in apples? And then they'll be, oh, an A. So I'm trying to wean them off that a little bit because now they don't need me to sound it out. We've been doing it now for months. So sometimes it just requires me to sit there and just kind of weed them out a little bit and say, well, let's see, what do you hear? And we stretch it out and then clap the last sound. So for the first category, if they have flashcards to practice, please practice those. If they don't have flashcards to practice, please have them writing sentences. The second is writing sight words. So again, if they have these, you would show them and then they could, show them for the first category, play a game. The second category would be writing them. Okay, let's write and. And so how would you write and, and getting like either a journal from the 99-cent store or writing it in chalk on the sidewalk outside. If they know all their sight words, writing a sentence would count for the first category and the second category. The third category is practice numbers 1 through 10. So you could literally we do this every single day. So during our question of the day, which today is, do you like orange leaves or yellow leaves better? So you could hold up 2 numbers. Let's see. And we're doing numbers 1 through 10. If your student is really great with their numbers 1 through 10, bump it up to, numbers 11 through 20. If your student is still struggling, keep them at numbers 1 through 5. So you could hold up 2 numbers and say, what is this number? A 6. What is this number? 8. Sorry if it's backwards. I can never remember if on the iPhone it flips it. So if it's backwards, you know what it is. Okay, which of these numbers is greater? Which of the numbers is less? And we do this little chant. It says, Mr. Alligator's hungry for lunch. He always eats the biggest number, munch, munch, munch. So what number is greater? It's the 8. Okay, the alligator would be eating the 8. And then we practice saying, the 6 is less than 8. The 8 is greater than 6. So that would be an idea. If they know their numbers 11 through 20, bump it up to 21 through 50. It's the same concepts apply at, all the different stages. Another idea, and if you don't have blocks at home, you can use coins, you can use pens, you can use spoons, you can use whatever you have, but showing them, okay, count how many 3, count how many 5. Which of these is greater? How many more are red blocks than do we have than blue blocks? And they'll say 5, and I'll say, well, it's not 5 more, it's 5 total, so let's line them up. If we lined them up, it's 2 more red blocks. So that's some ideas for how to practice numbers. Counting is obvious, do it in the car. Again, our trimester 2 goal is counting to 50. Our trimester 3 goal is counting to 100. If your student is not there yet, keep having them practice to 20. If your student is ready, you know, they got all EG, expected growth, on their report card, bump them up to counting to 50 now. If your student can easily count to 50, bump them up to counting to 100. They could also be counting to 100, skip counting by tens and fives. Fives is actually a first grade standard, but you know what? We can always challenge them. So counting by tens, 10, 20, 30. And then if they can, then once they accomplish that goal, then you can have them skip count by fives. I don't think I have anybody who's ready to count by twos, but you could have them count by twos if you want. That might be more of a trimester 3 idea. And then reading for 15 minutes. Again, your child probably isn't ready to read yet at the level of the books you have home. They could read my decodable books that are meant for kindergarten. You might have some decodable books at home, but if you're reading a bedtime story to them, that counts. If they, you know, I know the purpose of the bedtime story is to kind of calm them down. So if you want, maybe the first couple pages, they can identify the sight words, but then towards the end of the book, the point for bedtime stories is to calm the students. They are getting so much out of you reading to them. They are learning vocabulary, directionality, concepts of print, you know, talk about maybe the setting, the characters, maybe towards the beginning of the book. So then they are talking less as the book goes on, so that hopefully they fall asleep quickly after the book is read. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.